it's Paul from Alexander Knife Sharpening. So here's the grandfather's knife that was broken in 3 pieces. It came out really good. I'm real happy with it. The client stopped in. I showed her. She was thrilled. We're getting ready to do a laser engraving of this next, and we're actually going to put his real initials on this knife. So we're going to get him off of a document where he initialed something, and then we're going to scan it, vectorize it, and actually put his initials on it because he had a very unique way of making his L. So I think that's really cool. But I also wanted to talk to you about the importance of sometimes just going a little bit of an extra mile. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. So what happened after this client saw what we did with the paring knife and how I restored it, got it back, and I think we met her expectations, keeping all the original parts. She came back the following day with her globals that needed a lot of work. So I redid all of her globals and repolished them up, and they hadn't been done in a few years, and they really needed some work. So these are all ready to go. Then a couple days later, she came back in with some more relatives' knives. She had 2 that are visiting, so she had just come back from the Carolinas and was telling them about it, and they were coming up to visit. So she came back with even more knives, so I'm finishing up some of their knives, and this was kind of a cool little story too. They had met in a cooking school, and you can see they have their initials on their knives. And this was some of their knives that they started way back when they were cooks. And I cleaned these up, polished them. We didn't go crazy with them. I just used some Scotch-Brite on them, took some of the oxidation off of them, and then I polished up the handles. I just wanted to show you that because it just shows how like one little job can end up very easily turning into multiple jobs when people are happy with your work. So I had a couple of small handle refurbishes here on an old Chicago cutlery, but they just ended up bringing in, so we had the one paring knife, and then that ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more knives. So just keep that in mind. It never hurts to, I definitely put a lot of time into that paring knife. But I can just tell you that almost any time I've done a project like that, the person inevitably seems to come back with more stuff or refers you to someone else or tells you about somebody else, and you end up getting more work from it. So this is also my first week back from full week back since surgery. I did start last week for a couple days, and one of the things I'm always worried about whenever I shut down for a period of time, that's going to make people stop coming in, or if people are going to forget about it. So I always worry about being down for too long. Already today, I filled 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's over here on the floor, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 cases that I have to do that came in just today on the first day of being reopened, which for a Monday, I got to tell you, that's pretty good. Also really happy about that. Keep that in mind, especially if you're first starting out, because here's a perfect example of it, of an older knife. If you take the time, and granted, I totally understand, if you're a farmer's market sharpener or something like that, you can't do that. But if you think you're going to do like I'm doing, where you're going to have your own shop and you're going to work out of your own shop, just taking the time to clean up an older knife like this and polish the handle, and getting rid of this, if you look at these brass rivets, they got green oxidation in there, and repolishing that up so that it looks like something like this. Let's see, so when they get it back and the wood's all polished and the brass looks like that, and they know they gave it to you and it looked like that makes a difference too. And that is one of those things that makes people come back to me. So I just wanted to share that with you. Just a little quick tip about, don't be afraid to go the extra mile if you have the kind of service, or if you're starting out, to get that good reputation going out there with your customers. All right, everybody. Well, I got to get going here because I got a bunch of knives to sharpen and I don't want to fall behind in the work in the first week back. I will get to the S1 40-watt review. I am going to do that today. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that too because I got a real estate agent that I'm going to be doing a custom cutting board for a client that she's closing on a house next week. I also had someone contact me. I'll show you this one real quick too as we talk about how the laser engraving and stuff works into being really great with knife sharpening. I have someone who contacted me and they wanted something exactly like this done. They sent a picture of some buck knife 110s. They wanted people's initials on them and they said, hey, I need like 7 of these done. Can you do something like this? And they sent a picture. I actually had never bothered engraving on the brass of a buck knife, so I real quickly grabbed one of mine because I have several of them and said, well, let's see. So I took this, threw it under the laser pecker. It did take a while, almost an hour and a half to do this nice, deep, dark black engraving on the laser pecker 4, but it did it. He wants about 7 of them done. So that's about a full day's worth of work. You know, if they're going to be an hour and a half, I'm going to be having to, do one after another. But I could knock that out easily in 2 days, and I quoted them $25 each one to do initial engraving like that, and he was really happy with that. That should be a job coming in soon, and I'll show you that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, and I'll just touch on this because it just came out last week, and I am considering it. I'm hoping Xtool might decide to send me one at some point. They actually are supposed to be sending me an S1 20-watt to review. A lot of you, if you follow laser stuff, might have seen that they just came out with what's called the F1 Ultimate. It is a fiber laser. For those of us who do knife engravings, man, this is like what we've dreamed about. It's actually a dual laser, so it's a 20-watt blue laser and a fiber. Now, a fiber laser should be able to knock something like this out really fast, and that's the advantage of a fiber laser. So where I told you that this is going to take me an hour and a half, it'll probably only take a fiber laser a few minutes. So that's the advantage there. Now, are they cheap? They are not. A fiber laser is not inexpensive. And I'll probably do maybe a little talking about it in a short video, just so you guys know that's out there. Because if you are considering a laser for knife engraving, we really didn't have a great option like this that Xtool just came out with. So this is kind of a game changer, and I'm real excited about it. I'm really hoping they send me one to review. I'll see what can happen. My rep that I have from Xtool, she's a little slow getting back to me sometimes, but we'll see. So I don't know if the fact that they're in the process of sending me an S1 to review, that might hold things up, but we'll see. So hopefully I can get that, and even if not, I'm seriously considering buying one because it may be the perfect option for me here in my shop. So that's it for now. I got to get back to work. Look for the 40-watt review later. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. So in the link to this video description, I'm going to put a link to the current Xtool promotion for the fiber laser, just in case you're interested in it. Right now, if you put $100 down, they're going to give you $1,000 off the regular price once it's released. And the great thing is, if you change your mind when it's released and decide you don't want it, they'll give you your $100 back. But that's really a deal that's worth investing. If you think there's any chance you might want that, you might want to do it.